Welcome to the show. This is your host, David Yanez, and I have another great guest for you. I have Dr. Nikaidoh. And how are you, sir?
I am well, thank you.
We're excited to have you, and we had a great time on the radio show this morning. And I want to tell you, you touched me so much that I went ahead and I talked to your publicist already and asked them to send us some copies of your book because we definitely want to have you. We're going to bump you up on the time frame and have you on the show earlier with the video. I mean, you were on the radio show this morning, but I want to give people your story. You have an amazing story, something that not many people have gone through, but then there's a lot of people that might have gone through something similar, and that is losing a child. And first, tell them just a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we'll jump into your book.
Yes, and thank you. I am a heart surgeon for babies and children for many years. I'm originally from Japan, but I had most of the postgraduate training in the United States. I had a training in New York, Chicago, Cleveland, and I do feel blessed that I had good training. And my work has been just limited for the surgery of children's heart since 1972. And also, God blessed me with many years of professional life.
Amen.
So I was able to attend many children with heart disease. As David, you mentioned, I lost my own son, who was at the time when he died. He was 35 years of age, young surgical resident, and it was really a blow to me. And that was one of the a key point of writing this particular book.
Amen. Now, over the course of this last few years, you've met some people that have lost their children as well, and that helped inspire you to put this book. Tell us how you met these people.
Well, the first one is a lady that I met at the Children's Medical Center Dallas and in the pediatric ICU.
Okay.
This boy came in, the little boy, 2 years of age, and came in with a so-called near drowning. His heart didn't stop, but unfortunately his brain didn't recover from the drowning. So this child eventually died. But this mom, some years later, came back to Children's Hospital and started working as a Spanish interpreter, intelligent Spanish-speaking lady. And then I was really puzzled. Why does she even come back to the place where her own son died? And a similar experience I had with another young lady who was a nurse, who became a nurse after she lost her own daughter. Only after my son's death, I felt that I sort of joined rank and file with these ladies. So I got some nerve, or if you want to call that audacity, and I asked this first lady, why do you come back and work here day after day? And her response absolutely stunned me. She said, it helps me. And obviously I was surprised. So she repeated herself, it helps me, Dr. Nikaidoh. And that really made me think a lot more. And maybe these ladies know something which I didn't. So that was the point I started working on, that maybe we should be able to make a book. And I found an excellent writer who is a very compassionate lady.
Amen.
And she and I interviewed 8 mothers. These mothers all told wonderful stories, but it all started out with a painful description, how painful it was to lose a child. But yet they all came back, recovered.
That's amazing. Now, you told me on the radio show earlier that 7 of them worked at the hospital?
Yes, they out of 8, 7 came back to the Children's Medical Center and work.
Wow.
And then 4 of them are still closely related to the hospital, even
Wow.
today.
Wow. So when someone goes through something like that, getting out and being a part of something helps them get past a lot of the stuff.
Yes, and I think that it is about, I do believe that God's grace, and then it is God's grace and mercy. That's what we depend on every day.
Amen. Amen. Now you had a huge response at a Barnes and Noble. Share a few minutes about that.
Well, the book signing happened on April 20th, and more than 400 people showed up. And this wasn't really dependent on the newspaper ads or anything like that. It was relatively word of mouth, and also some emails, Facebook, and so forth. But yeah, 400 people showed up, and many of them were the nurses, doctors, and my friends from the church, and also most precious thing is they have patients and some of the family members who lost their children too. They all came up in 400 people. That was really very, very touching. And the book signing is supposed to go from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, but I couldn't leave the table until almost 9 o'clock at night.
That's amazing for people to stay that long for a book signing as well.
I am very, very grateful. And then the sad part is some people, because of their previous commitments and so forth, they couldn't stay that late. So
wow, that's amazing.
I have to apologize to everybody for that.
Amen. Now, some of the ladies that shared their stories, they were book signing too with you?
Yes, out of 8, 7 of them were able to sit and share the time together with all these people who are coming in for book signing. And I think that was, in a way, very, very strong testimony that for their own recovery,
yes,
belief, and God's grace.
Amen. Now, when they're coming up to get their book signed, you weren't only just signing, you were actually just talking to them and hearing some of their stories of the people that were coming through the line.
Yes, David. I really felt important to have each time a personal connection. Why are they there? And why they would cherish this book. So each time I communicated with them, and after signing, and of course I added some comments, which would be meaningful to them.
Amen. Now, the title of the book again is Heal the Heart, correct?
Healing the Hearts.
Healing the Hearts. And where can they find this book? Barnes Noble, Amazon?
Barnes and Noble, or any Christian store, they are bookstores. And certainly that you can get it from Amazon.com. And no, I don't care how you get it, but I really hope that this will be a blessing to you.
Amen. Now, out of the grief that you've gone through and continue to go through, what are some things that you observed that helped you?
Well, the most important thing that I, not only myself, but these mothers recognize is not to, of course, not the beginning of grief, and we are totally trapped in grief. But yet, at one point, when we realize there are other people who are suffering the similar way, and some of the revelation could be, like one of the mothers said, my husband is suffering too. And then some mothers felt that there are other parents who are suffering in a similar way, or even other family members. And once you recognize that, then you start ministering to them. And then that will put the recovery phase in a totally different level.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Go ahead and give them your websites if you have them, my brother.
Yes, the website is the healingheartsbook.com. And you should be able to get that, some more information out of the Facebook of the book, the websites.
Amen. And just a quick note, actually, U.S. Surgeon General C. Everett Koop wrote the forward for your book. Just tell him briefly on how you got him to do that.
Well, then I have known him for many years, and because I was originally a pediatric general surgeon, that's what the Dr. Koop was, and he was the head of surgery at the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. So I have known him for many years, and he himself, Dr. Koop, lost his own son, age 20, by rock climbing. We may call it accident, but he calls that incident. But I visited him and I asked if he could write the preface, and he did very kindly, and in his age of over 90s. But yet he clearly recognized what this book is all about. This book tells something which we don't understand. That's a God's wisdom, and he calls that sovereignty of God.
I love that. I want to end the show on that one. That was just powerful. And thank you, brother. And we'll be back with another great guest.